Okay, I have here a GSK X24. Here's the key. And this lock has quite a few pins in it. There are 4 rows. I'm going to use this for tension. And then we're going to start in the bottom 2 rows. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 clicks on the left. Let's click on the right. Another small click on the right. Back on the left. That's a binder on the right. Yep, click on the right. Back on the left. On the right. And then the last few aren't binding here. The last one on the right's kind of binding. Maybe not. Not quite sure if that's in or not. All right, one more time on the bottom. It's the last one on the right again. One more time. Some point I hope this can stabilize. I did get a few more clicks with that pass. So one more time. That's pretty good. All right, so with that, we can probably start on the top. Okay, binding second one on the upper left, big click there. Binding on the right, counter rotate a little. That one's really tight. Come on. Pulsed a little. I think I got a click. I did get a click. Okay, back on the left seems okay. Slight click on the right. What's going on here? All right, now on the back half of the lock, and I seem to have lost some of the bottom. So I didn't quite make it all the way through the top, just the first three sets of pins, I guess. So let's go back to the bottom. Yeah, okay. Not bad. Okay, back to the top. Picking up where I left off. Okay, so what is that like? Pin 5 on the upper right, binding really hard. So I think I have to let up tension. Oh, there we go. Just let up tension a little bit. And then it fell into place. is that binding? Not quite sure. Yeah, I think it is. That must be pin 5 in the upper left. Might be okay. All right, let's go back to the bottom again. Okay. All right, pin 3. Did I get it? It's really tight in here, so on the lower right, it's touching up on the upper left, the pin on the upper left and the lower right are about touching each other. So I'm trying to get in between and see if either of them are binding. The upper left is not. I think I might have moved the lower right by now. Okay, one more time, straight up on the bottom. Okay. All right, let's see. Back to the top. So click on 2, upper left. Again, we're stuck on 3. Might try something a little different here. Sometimes when the pins are so close together, I need to get like a diamond wedged right in between them. Okay, let's see what that might have done. Certainly not touching each other anymore. Okay, 3 was okay in the upper left. Overset? No, it seems okay in the lower right. All right, let's try again. Whenever I make a significant movement like that, I feel like I gotta go back to the bottom. Check that first. Yeah, I lost 4 on the lower right, lost 5 on the lower right. And I think that might have been 6 in the lower right. And the lower left seems like it held up. And that's good. Okay, back to the top. Let's take a look at the upper left. Two might need to go. One more. Trying to gauge whether it's binding. Might be. On 3, 3 is good. Let me see if I can compare the feel of 3, because 3 is so obviously good. And 2, yeah, you know, 2 is binding. 2 needs to go further. All right. Let's see what I can do here. Okay, so click on 2. Didn't feel very dramatic, but definitely moved. Okay, and when I go back further, is that 5 on the right binding? Possibly. Okay, let's just take it from the top before I get too carried away. Yeah. Okay. Click on 3 on the bottom left. Click on 4 on the bottom left and 5. Ooh. Wow. All right, that was a click on 6 at the bottom left. And the reason that excites me is just from having picked this lock before, I know that that's one of the last pins, if not the very last pin to bind. But the lock did not open. Yet it was clearly binding, and I heard that click very clearly. So that means I'm very close. I believe it means that there might just be one pin that's stuck in the overmilling. And so I want to be careful and see if I can identify which it is. So what I'm going to do, even though my finger's hurting a bit here, is I'm going to try to increase tension. And I'm going to go row by row, and I'm going to try to see if I can find that pin. I'm on the lower left. It's not on the lower left. Let's try the lower right. It is not on the lower right. Okay. Let's try upper left. Hard to get in there. What's going on? Oh, I might have lost it. Well, 2 is good, 3 is good. 4. 5. Let's try in the bottom again. I'll be very careful. Okay. That was 6 again, so I lost it for a second, but it's still binding, so I'm still close. I'm still in that zone. upper right yet. Let me see if I can do that. I think it's the first pin on the upper right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we can do. I mean, that was a click. But unfortunately, that wasn't it. So there's probably multiple things that are wrong. Let me just make sure everything else is in place. Okay, that was 6. Looking again. It's quite an exercise in patience. Okay. That was the upper left. Oh, hold on. Okay. Three on the upper right needs a little bit of a push. Still feel like testing row by row is the way to go here. I'm trying to pay particular attention to deeper sets. I don't want to overset anything, but sometimes it's hard when they're all the way in there to see. Yeah, but 2, for example, on the upper left, that's really clearly set. Yeah. Okay, but what about 5 in the upper left? That's a little bit harder to get at. Still, it's feeling solid. Okay, hold on. 1 popped out again. That's a clue. Yeah. That was, I don't know if you remember, a short while ago I had clicked 1 in place, and this was a much more satisfying click. Now that pin is staying set. It's a good sign. All right. And I see which one's stuck. It is, what is that? The 5th one on the upper right. Okay, I'm going to need to do a little pulsing and counter rotation here. Come on, it's really in there. Come on. There we go. We are open. Wow, look at that. Okay, well, I'm not going to turn it much further than that. What is that, 45 degrees? Hard to tell from this angle. Yeah, because you see, this thing has 4 rows of pins in it, and they're kind of, if you think of this as a clock, it's like, well, it's like 60, 120, 180, so it's 60 degrees and 120. There are rows. So if I were to turn this 60 degrees, all the driver pins from this this side would fall into the keyway. It wouldn't be the worst thing, but we'll just keep it at that. And now we'll have to gut this thing, huh? That's going to be an adventure. Let me change the focus up, zoom out. Okay, I just want to, hold on, let me I'm going to take it out of the, well, let me lock it back up. Oh, and I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Let me just be super careful, and I'll just take this out first, so I can get a closer look at it. Get my camera a little closer. Okay. All right, let's fix this a little bit. I want to go up a little, tilt a little, zoom out a little, back. That's about right. And I'm going to need a gunning tray. Get the tools out of the way. Let's see how my lighting's doing. Still want a little more room. There we go. That's pretty good. All right, so let's see. I want to lock this back up. Here we go. Good. Key still works. All right. All right, fair warning. This is an unguttable lock, technically, and I made an absolute mess in gutting it. So I'm gonna try to describe, first of all, I don't advise gutting this, but if you want to do it anyways, I'll tell you exactly what I did and where I went wrong. So you might do a better job. In any event, the first, and this is a smart thing that I did. Can you see that tiny hole? I drilled that tiny hole in there. And the reason that's important is at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, there are detents holding this cap in. Right there. So the first thing I need to do is push that detent in through that hole. You see I was able to lift that up a little bit, that cap up. And then if I were to turn this on the other side, is that it? I think that's it. There's another detent here. Okay. And now I believe I can take this cap off and be very careful that holding my fingers, that things don't shoot out everywhere. Okay, so the cap's off. All right, and on this side, you can see there's the detent. Right there. And there's a spring in there. Okay. And then the other side, my finger's holding it in. Oh, just fell underneath. There's the detent. And there's a spring in there. All right. Not bad, you might be thinking, right? Well, I got some good false confidence there. Having figured that out. Then this thing comes off. You screw it. And you can lift it out. Okay, it's the housing. All right, here's where things get really messy. There are the 4 rows. and there are the 4 caps. If you get a new lock like this, the only way to remove these caps is they won't slide out. You've got to literally pry them from the ends up and bend them all the way up, like literally peel them up. And of course, that's not a good thing for the metal or anything else. And so what I wound up doing, and I do think this is the right thing, is to then kind of like file some of the sides down, file the end down so that you can, you know, what I'm about to do, you can kind of stick a screwdriver or something in there and slide it back. But then you run into a few problems. One is the precision is so high in this lock. So high that like you need to make sure that these caps are completely flush and secure in order for the lock to function. And so what I had to do is put, you can probably see it here, I put a little adhesive on the side so that I could slide it in and have it stick and stay. And then the other thing to watch out for, as you're about to see, is that I completely mangled a number of these springs. And so let's see, I am currently, what is this? This is the upper right that I'm at here. So I'm going to just use my screwdriver and I'm going to slide this out gently, and you're going to see tops of the springs there. I'm actually just going to see one spring for now. And it's going to be very gentle and move slowly because I don't want to damage that spring. And I just want to continue to slide this piece out, slide this cap out. Okay. And actually, you can see I exposed 3 of the chambers. I'm just going to take those out right now. So I'm upper right. That's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. Oops. See, they fly everywhere. Okay, that one, the 5th spring went under my paper there. I'll get it later. 4. Okay, let me see if I can use my thumb for the rest. Yes, so now I slide this cap out. Okay, and here are the other 3 springs. 3, 2, 1. All right. And let me see if I can just recover this one. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, I want you to observe that there are hollow holes in each of those driver pins. That's confirming that they're in the proper orientation. Well, I suppose if they were flipped around backwards, there would be no way to put those springs in to fit the springs in. But I think the light's catching it in the right way. You can see that. Okay, once you've seen that, I can start to dump these out. And let's just take a look at these. The driver pins all look like this. They're mushroom drivers. And the key pins, there are 3 types. That's a max lift right there. Might be easier to get the close-up afterwards, so let me just continue. And I think one issue I'm going to have is, you see the adhesive that I put in there, is preventing those pins from falling out. So I'm actually going to take a blade and peel off my adhesive. And of course I'll need to put a new one on to put the lock back together. But there you can at least see, maybe give you a better idea of how I got these caps to stay in so well after taking them out. Okay, so let's keep going. This will be 2. Let me get the pinning tweezers here. 3. Come on, flipping you around. Doesn't want to go that way. Okay, 4. All right, doesn't matter. I'll keep it like that. And then 5 and 6. I'll only do 6 first. And 5. All right. You need just as much patience gutting this lock as you do picking it. Okay. So that's 1 row. And we've got 3 more. So let's go to the lower right. That's this one here. I'm going to do the same thing using my screwdriver. Just going to push off the side here. Let me see if that was enough to pull it. It is. Okay, so there's the cap off. Again, I'm at lower right, so I'll put that here. All right, there are all the springs. Let's get those springs out. That one's hard. Let's do 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. All right, what 6 is giving me trouble? Okay. 6 is all mangled, that's why. All right, and once again, I want you to take some of the adhesive out. I want you to observe the hollow holes at each of those. Okay, so all those drivers, again, in the right position, right orientation. Again, no, I don't think the springs would fit otherwise. So let's dump them out. 1. Where'd my pin tweezers go? Here we go. 2. Stuck on adhesive. Might be. I thought I cleaned that out pretty good, but let me just do one more. Yeah, oh yeah, there's a little bit of residue there. Keeping them from falling out easily. Okay, let me try that. Still no good. Let me try the other end. Let's try 6. That worked. Okay, 5. 4. 3. 2 is the last one. Okay. Two down. Let's keep going. So we got lower left right here. I think it's coming out pretty easily. Let's see. Not bad. Okay, I think I got 2 exposed. Let's see, we can pull the rest. Okay. I don't know if you saw that, but a spring launched off the side of the table to the right. And I am not going to find that easily. All right, I'm gonna have to recover that one afterwards. That was the spring in chamber 1. So let's do 2, 3, 4. Oops. That one almost launched. Here we go, 5. 6. Okay, and now once more you can kind of see the hollowness in each of those chambers. You have right orientation. Okay, and then we'll go 6. Paint tweezers. Here we go. Five. 4. 1. 2. Not coming out. 3 not coming out. But there is an adhesive here I think is blocking it. So I'm going to need to take that out. Okay. Now 2. And I put these in the wrong order. And 3. So what did I do? If I already put 3 in, what is this? This is, yeah, okay. I think what I did is when I took 1 out, I put it where 3 should go. So 3 goes there. All right, good. All right, that makes sense. And then I'm just missing the spring from 1 that launched over the side of my table. All right, we're down to the very last row. The upper left. Now this one is slightly different. Check this out, number 6. Very different spring. What's going on there? Okay, I think that just came out. Cap came out. So we've got the rest of the springs here. It's 5, 4. Wow, 4 is really mangled, huh? 3. When they get mangled, it's really just a problem putting them back in. Once they're in there, they're so thin that they function just fine. All right, and then finally, I want to show you those hollow holes. And you may notice you're not seeing it in the 6th one. And that's because that's actually a passive pin. It doesn't have a real driver in there. So I'll show you that separately. Maybe we'll take that out last. So technically there's only 23 pins, not 24 to pick. All right, let's, oh, one's not coming out. Oh, there it is, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Let's see. Maybe I'll take out 6. Aha, a ball bearing. Where'd it go? All right, ball bearings rolling all over. Okay. Let's see. Can I get the key pin? No. That one tends to get stuck. So we'll come back for it. Okay, this was 5. And then 4. All right, the only thing that's still in this chamber is, you can probably see, is the key pin for 6. Oh, there it goes. And here, let me just show you that it's passive. You see there's just a slight indentation there where it interfaces with the ball bearing. And believe it or not, but that's the best tool you have in picking this lock, because what happens is that this spring just gives you the slightest bit of counter rotation, in that ball bearing going back into that indentation, that key pin. So obviously when you're operating the lock, it helps keep it in place in the neutral position. But when you're picking, it helps with the counter rotation. So now we have a free spinning core. And to get the core out, there are 4 screws in the back. Now, these are not the original screws, because when I first got this lock, the original screws were all tiny Phillips screws, and they were coated in this black resin all over the back of the lock. And so it was impossible to clear out the resin and get a screwdriver in. So I wound up stripping those screws and getting them out. cleaning off all the resin, and then I just replaced them. They're M2.2s, so they're pretty easy to replace. I replaced them with these nice Torx screws, so I won't have that problem again. So I'm happy about that part of the gutting. Just not how the springs came out and the caps. Hopefully, if anyone is foolish enough to do this with this lock, they'll do a better job than me. All right, and here's the tailpiece. Okay, not really much interesting there, but this is what we wanted to see. So here's the housing. Let's just, you can see there's really nothing really left in here, okay? But this is the interesting part, because you see all of these, oops, that's a drill pin. Just fell out. Came out right there. There are 3 others, but they don't seem to fall out. Anyways, you can see now clearly that each of the rows of 6, and also hopefully you can see how these, you see that row is paired perfectly with that one, and then these 2 are interleaved and paired with each other. But also what you want to look at is, here, do I have a pick for this? I don't know if I'm going to pick in every one, but you see every one of these is overmilled. Every one, every chamber. And I have to tell you that overmilling is quite effective. Hard to see around my thumb, huh? Here, let me show you the other direction. Is that easier? Yeah. Anyways, I guess this is the value of gutting this lock down to down to the bare bones. You can see all the little details gone into it. Really well manufactured. Very tight tolerances. A lot of ping-ponging, as you saw, back and forth. So quite a good challenge. Let me just give you, I'll wrap this up. I'll just give you a little bit of a view so you can see a close-up of some of these pins. And you can see how badly I mangled some of these springs. Okay. There we are. That is the GSK X24.